Welcome to Dunamis Women and Ram today, a special edition that I want to really admonish you to just sit back because you're going to get some insight about Alzheimer's. I'm right here at the Alzheimer's Association, and I am so excited because Dunamis Women, one of our missions, particularly with Dunamis Women and Ram magazine, is to come under the mission of other missions, that you may be educated, you may be empowered, and most of all, that we may be able to give back to this particular cause. And I have been connected with Alzheimer's Association because I was connected to a powerful woman who you're going to have the privilege of subscribing, Carrie Ann Ryan of the Schaumburg Business Association, who's featured on our front cover, and her heartfelt passion is to support the mission of Alzheimer's. She was impacted by a loved one. We all have been impacted in some way, but this association educate families, they empower families, they work with them, they go through their journey with them. And so I'm going to interview a powerful woman, Nancy Rainwater, right here, Vice President of Communications of Alzheimer's Association, and it's very enlightening. So I want you to stay tuned, Dee Collins, and we'll be right back with you because your heart will be compelled to be able to connect with us as we are on this movement. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Nancy Rainwater, how are you?
I'm well, thank you very much.
Good. I am so excited about being right here at Alzheimer's Association, talking to you about Alzheimer's.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome. We're glad to have you here.
You're quite welcome. I'm sure that your life has been impacted, just by working here at the association. And women at large, we're very much impacted by the various things of life that comes our way, but yet we can handle it. So share with me your experience with Alzheimer's, working with the association, how it has impacted women particularly.
Okay. Well, my personal experience, I've sort of been around Alzheimer's disease my whole life, even if I didn't know at the time that's what it was. When I was growing up, my grandmother, starting with, had Alzheimer's disease. I was probably, 6 years old. We'd go and visit her at the nursing home, and she wouldn't know who we were, and at that point, this was, probably, 42 years ago,
Wow.
aging myself.
Yeah.
They said, oh, it's hardening of the arteries, it's senility. They didn't have a name for it, or if they did, you didn't hear it, and it was just, it's just something that happens to old people. And then my grandfather, my mom's father, got it too, and he was much different because he would get angry and upset, and he ended up, unfortunately, needing to be in a nursing home too. But prior to that, he would get so angry and confused that he would lash out at my mom. My mom actually ended up in the hospital one time because, he lashed out and she just couldn't deal with it, So, and then fast forward many years, when my mom was, 77, I guess it was, she was diagnosed. And we started to notice, one time we were out for dinner at a restaurant that we often go for birthdays and whatnot, and the staff of the restaurant came out to sing happy birthday, and they do a big spiel, big birthday song and sing. Everybody claps and carries on. It was my niece's birthday. It was a lot of fun. And after all that was over, my mom said, so are they going to come out and sing happy birthday? So I was like, oh, we just knew. We saw little signs, but, she was also very good at hiding it, too. So so then we knew, and we, got her diagnosed, and it was about 3 years that she had the disease before she passed away. And during that time, we were able to keep her at home. We were very fortunate because that's not always the case. My father and us kids were able to care for her. None of us were living at home at the time, but we were able to give my dad a break, now and then. He was such a wonderful caregiver for her, as she was for her parents. And so it was something. And then my dad's sister also had the disease, so. It's just always been present in my life, or I've known people, at church or wherever that have had it. So it's, just always been there. And during the time when I was going through all this with my mom, a friend of mine had started working for the association, so that was a big help.
So you wasn't working here
No,
at that
I
time?
wasn't working here at the time.
Okay.
And actually, she and I were getting our master's degrees together, and we were driving to school together, and she would tell me about the association. I would reach out for help, and then I ended up volunteering for the association at the walks and a different leadership council that they had at the time. So, you know, fast forward another, let's see, probably 5 years, and run into the same friend and said, hey, if you ever know of something in the nonprofit world, here I am. So, and you know, since, I mean, so it's been, I don't know, I guess you would say
It's been a journey.
it's been a journey,
It's
for
been
sure.
a journey.
And it's been, you know, I would say a life calling in a way.
Yeah,
you know, it's
yeah.
something that I'm passionate about. You know, it's always nice to work somewhere
That you're
where
passionate about.
that
that
where
you're
your
passionate
passion
about.
lies, you know?
Even while you're speaking, Nancy, I'm just hearing how destiny have called you. You know, destiny have called, and we teach here at Dunamis Women as we educate and empower women. Dunamis, you know, it's a Greek term for power, but
Right.
that power cannot come forth and exuberate to make changes in people's lives the way it's designed to, unless we have experienced some levels of pain, you know. And seem like from yourself, not just from a professional standpoint, naturally, you had the experience that destiny have called from a personal standpoint, even at the age of 6 and working your way up. However, when you learned about it from your mother, you know, talk about the emotional impact. Because you looked wonderful when you said it. But I mean, I know
I've
on
learned
the
to control my
inside,
emotions.
I know, but I mean, on the inside, revisit that
Yeah.
for me
Believe
for a
me,
moment.
the first, you know, few, you know, year probably that I worked here, it didn't take much for the tears to come and, you know, just the memories to come forward. But, you know, it was really tough seeing her go through this because she was still there physically, but she wasn't there mentally.
Okay.
You know, she didn't know who we were. She was frightened a lot. That was really tough to see because my mom always.
She was that strong woman.
She was
She
a
was
strong
that powerful woman.
She took care of the family, took care of my dad. She just kept everything in order, even though she was quiet. She just still, you knew she was the one behind everything, running the show. So
Which
that
we
was-
are.
Yeah, exactly.
We are, yes.
Exactly. So there's one day in particular where I came. My dad called, and Mom was particularly upset that day, and I left work and went over there, and she was sitting outside, and she was crying, just sobbing. I'm like, Mom, what's wrong? She's like, I just found out that you're my daughter. I didn't know that. If I had known, I would have been such a great mom. And, you know, at the time, I was like, Mom, no, you were a great mom, you know, and
Nancy, you're not going to have me on this set crying.
yeah, so it was very emotional, you know, because
I could feel the impact.
Just didn't, you know, she didn't know,
Yeah.
and you know, and you know, it was hard to understand because how could she have lost all of that time? She didn't know. She didn't remember she had any kids at all. You know,
And how many did she?
there's four.
Four.
Four of us, yeah. And I'm the baby.
You're the
so-
baby.
But you know, so that was really, really tough. And you know, we were very fortunate because we didn't have to put her in the home. You know, there's a lot of we're almost to that point, and you know, she died in her sleep one night. And
Now
it
that's a
was-
blessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a
was.
blessing. That's
Absolutely.
a blessing. That's
It was
a blessing.
truly a blessing, and we've always seen it. We figured, well, she had this conversation with God, and
Yes.
said, "All right, I don't want to put him through anymore."
Yes,
you know, so
yes, yeah. Well, we're going to go to a break, but prior to that, I want you to briefly talk about self-care from a personal perspective, because when we come back, we're going to get more of your experience from a professional view,
Okay.
you know. But, you know, many women, we're so busy doing things, and even in this case particular with you and being impacted personally, how did you manage to care for yourself as well as your family?
Well, you know, it was tough. I was really wanting to care for my father too. One of the issues that happens with Alzheimer's disease is that the caregiver, their health ends up being impacted worse, and they may end up having worse health issues or dying before the person with the disease, because it's just so hard on the caregiver. So we were, you know, as a family, I mean, fortunately we have a strong family, and I think, you know, having that support system is key.
Yeah, and then you had the experience even with your mother's parents,
Right,
you know,
right.
going through that and how it impacted her. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
So, you know, I think having and taking time for yourself is important.
Okay.
How
did you find that time?
Well, you know, because there were 4 of us, plus my father, you know.
Yeah.
And
You had
so
to make
that
it.
was helpful. You
Yeah.
know, you have to have that support system and faith and you know, anywhere you can find the support is useful.
I want to go just a little bit deeper in the self-care, because even so many women who are not facing this particular trial in their life, they don't really know how to self-care. You know, just real quick, give me one thing that you did just to really just cognitively say, I need to care for myself.
Probably take a break when I felt I needed it.
Just when
know?
you felt it.
Just go off by myself and sit and look at a lake or a river. Or, you know, I'm a huge nature lover, so that's where I find a lot of peace. And I think, you know, whatever you do to find
just find that moment.
Peace, that's what you need. You know, and you know, of course, you know, exercise is important and those kinds of things, and staying active, and that's just real important.
That's very huge. Well, that's what we call, Nancy, here at Dunamis Woman, a power moment. Okay, and we believe that every woman needs to take care of themselves and have a power moment. So we're going to go to commercial break, and we want to be right back with you, and just stay tuned. This is Dee Collins, Dunamis Woman Today.
Dunamis Woman and Real Awesome Men magazine is not just a publication that empowers you to break through barriers for great success, but we are a magazine that supports the mission of other organizations. So I am so happy for our fall 2014 issue, which is a special edition strictly for the Schaumburg Business Association. And we are coupling up with Alzheimer's Association to support their mission and their cause. Alzheimer's is something that affects many families all around the world, whether it's your mother, your grandfather, your grandmother, or your father. And it really is something that most people really hold dear to their heart. And so we want you to help us support Alzheimer's Association by going to our website and buying a single issue for a low cost of just $6.95. That's just $6.95 that you could help us give back to Alzheimer's Association. So visit www.dunamis-woman.com and get your copy today.
Well, welcome back right here to Dunamis Woman in Ram Today, and I am here, Dee Collins, right here at Alzheimer's Association. I have the one and only, and when I mean the one and only, Nancy Rainwater, Vice President of Communications here at Alzheimer's Association. Well, we're going to come back to some powerful nuggets that I know that you have to share, and I really appreciate you being transparent. You know, a lot of women doesn't find it easy to share their wounds, but I know that there's a great level of healing that has taken place that has afforded you the opportunity to now move into a professional arena here, working with people who are in your shoes, or who, you know, walking those shoes that you've already walked, and destiny have called you to be an advocate for them, help them, assist them, empower them. So tell us about what you do right here at Alzheimer's from a professional standpoint, and the families that are basically impacted.
Well, here at the Alzheimer's Association, we work hard to care for the families as far as offering support and guidance as they go through the journey of Alzheimer's disease or memory loss. You know, there's many different kinds of dementia, and Alzheimer's disease is just one of the many kinds. And if people think they may have a family member or even experiencing memory loss themselves, they really need to get a diagnosis and call the Alzheimer's Association. so they can begin, there's things you can do to make life easier for yourself or for the person with the disease, as far as planning, as far as going to support groups,
taking care of themselves in the midst of that.
Teaching the caregivers how to care for themselves. We even we have a lot of education programs that
that's
we
what
give.
I was going to ask you, educational programs.
Just, that we will give out in the community, just so people can understand what Alzheimer's disease is, how to recognize Alzheimer's disease. So those are the kinds of programs that we do. And we have programs for people going through the disease themselves, and as well as their caregivers.
Wow.
So, and we also provide counseling, so one-on-one care navigation is what we call it, care navigation for families and for those with the disease,
now,
with a licensed clinical social worker.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so is that kind of like, would you think that is conclusive of emotional health care, management of why they're going through that process?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to it, how to deal with things going on in within your family. Sometimes there's conflict within a family between siblings or something when they're caring for mom, and we can help with those kinds of things. There's planning, whether it's legal, financial, end of life. These are the kinds of things that families and the person going through the disease needs to think about.
Which we don't have a tendency, we don't prepare for that. We don't prepare. So you're really preparing them. It's not an easy conversation. And there's no period of time that you can depict with how long this will be. Am I correct, this process?
Right.
Okay.
You just, it couldn't be, like my mom was as short as 3 years that we were going through it, but I've met families that are dealing with it 10 or 20 years, so it can be.
That's a long time. That's a long road. That's a long road to see your loved one going through that, and it's very. I mean, I feel the impact of it, and my mother had a certain level of that. Just seeing her mind and the clues of that. She didn't suffer from that totally, but just the in and out sometimes. It's like the fear. Just having that. Have to deal with that. So in the office, it's just a day to day. Give me a day to day operations aspect of it, because I believe you all just got so much going on.
We have a lot going on. One of the things that I'm focused on, as you were talking about, me sharing my story. One of the things that I'm focused on is generating awareness for the disease, telling the story of the association, and meeting families who are willing to tell their story. Because, I mean, with any health issue or disease, the best stories come from those actually experiencing it. I mean, I can spout off facts and figures till I'm blue in the face, but hearing someone's story is what's most impactful. And so that's the kind of work that I personally do, is trying to tell those stories. We have through our care navigation team and through our programs team that do the education, we meet a lot of people out and about this, so we hear a lot of these stories, and we're helping people every day, and one of the most amazing things to me when I started working here, I didn't realize that younger people could get Alzheimer's disease.
Oh, wow.
And I have met people in their 30s, 40s, 50s that have the disease, and that's really eye-opening.
That's really eye-opening. Yeah, that's just eye-opening for me right there, because I didn't realize that. Now, from your experience, do you see mostly women get it, less men? I mean, just from your experience.
Women have a higher incidence of Alzheimer's disease, for sure. They have a higher level of impact. They are also, from the caregiving side, more likely to be impacted because women are caregivers naturally. So
and we're more emotional creatures.
So I think it's more likely that a woman will be a caregiver. It's more likely that a woman will be taking time away from her job or time away from her other duties with her family to care for a person with Alzheimer's disease. You know, and Alzheimer's disease is truly a disease that impacts the entire family.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because you know it's not an easy disease to. You know, it's not easy to care for someone with Alzheimer's disease because they can't tell you what's going on often. So,
and then I believe just the impact of them not really knowing who you are.
Yeah.
You know,
when it gets to that point.
When it gets to that point, that can be emotionally draining. I just want to veer off because you mentioned the term family. You know, and how it impacts families, and you all are helping families, and you're educating families. And I just recall when I first walked into this office, it's such a family atmosphere, you know, and I'm speaking amongst the team. Haven't met everyone, but the few that I have met and had an opportunity to sit down with, and even from the person at the front desk, you know, I was like, I feel like I'm at home, you know. And naturally, it's such a cozy atmosphere. It's such a warm atmosphere. And I just want to say kudos, you know, from the leader on down, and all of you all are leaders. But how do you all maintain that family environment? You know, everyone I know have to take care of themselves, but how do you be that support to one another? Because you all are giving out. You all are giving out and giving out.
I think, you know, many of us have experienced this personally.
Okay.
So
okay.
I think
that's key.
A lot of it, you know, comes from that, and even if we haven't experienced in our own families, we've seen the impact on those that we serve. So, you know, I think that a lot of nonprofit organizations tend to be have that feeling. It's just a caring environment, and it's a nice environment to work in.
It is. And you all have several walks.
We do.
And talk about that real briefly before we go, because I definitely want everyone to visit the website, and I'll have you give them that information.
Okay.
But just talk about your walks.
Sure. Well, our Walk to End Alzheimer's is our largest fundraiser of the year.
Okay.
It supports our mission of care, education, and research. So the funds that we raise during Walk to End Alzheimer's, which is held nationally, you know, there isn't a state that you won't find walks to end Alzheimer's, and in our chapter alone, we have 17. Throughout the state of Illinois, we have 27 walks.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
that's a lot of walks.
It's a lot of walks.
So out of this,
and this is walk season.
This is walk season.
September and October is when most walks take place.
Okay.
So the largest walk that we put on is the Chicago Walk to End Alzheimer's. That's September 28th down at Montrose Harbor. We also hold walks in Naperville, Schaumburg, Lake County, and the North Shore. So you can go on our website, www.alz.org/walk, and put in your zip code, and you can find the walk
where the walk
that's
is
closest to you.
Now, do you walk? I know you walk some of those.
Yeah.
Now, how many miles is it?
It's about around 3 miles.
3 miles. That's not bad.
Oh, it's not bad.
That's wonderful.
It's not
and by the
bad.
time you join,
it's a great environment. It's a great experience, and very moving and uplifting, and it's
sharing.
Yes.
You know, this will be our first walk with the Alzheimer's Association, but naturally, you know, our mission is to come up under the causes of other missions, so we have taken walks and just being together. You know, I think it's the togetherness, you know.
It's empowering. And,
very much empowering. So what would you, in your closing remarks, and it's been a wonderful interview, but what would you just speak to the viewers out there, and what would you encourage them to do, and how they can get connected, and what they can do, even if they've experienced a loved one, you know?
Well, if you want to learn more, go to alz.org.
Okay.
/Illinois is the chapter website, or alz.org is the national website. Through that, you can get involved in any variety of ways. You can volunteer, you can donate, you can advocate. That's a big part of what we do, is advocating to our legislators.
Donate and advocate.
Yeah. So those are some of the main ways to get more involved and connect with us.
Well, I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for
I
being
thank you
here.
for this opportunity. You will see me in one of the walks, actually, Dunamis Woman. You know, we're
Excellent.
getting ready our T-shirts. We're trying to recruit, so we want you
All
all to come
right.
on out and join
All
the
right.
Dunamis Woman movement with the Alzheimer's Association. Thank you so very
Thank
much,
you.
Nancy. Thank you. And thank you. This is Dee Collins, Dunamis Woman in Ram today. Well, there you have it. I was truly, truly touched, blessed, moved, because I'm always hearing the heart of others, but hearing the heart of Nancy Rainwater, and not only what she does on a professional level, but what she experienced on a personal level, compelled me to be able to reach out to persons like unto yourself. We all have been impacted, particularly women, and I know that you have been impacted, and we want you to join us on a movement to undergird this mission, to come up under the mission. And I want you to subscribe to the magazine. Go to www.dunamis-woman.com. That's www.dunamis-woman.com. Get your copy today. A portion of those proceeds will be given directly back to the Alzheimer's Association for the cause that's impacting families, helping families, undergirding families, educating families, empowering families. And even as it was stated on the interview, this is a family-oriented environment. All of them have been impacted in some way by hearing the stories of others. We all have a story, but it's for His glory.
Dunamis, Dunamis woman, woman. Dunamis, Dunamis woman. Releasing all miracles for the kingdom within me. Breaking through barriers, success is what I see. Understanding my destiny and the power I possess. Exposing, empowering my greatness in the eyes. Dunamis woman, taking authority. Dunamis, Dunamis woman, over principalities. Dunamis, Dunamis woman, I am strong. Dunamis, relentless. Dunamis woman, woman. Dunamis, Dunamis woman. Releasing all miracles for the kingdom within me. Breaking through barriers, success is what I see. Understanding my destiny and the power I possess. Exposing, empowering my greatness in the eyes. Dunamis, Dunamis woman, taking authority.